Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
Before we get started, I wanted to thank everybody. The Kickstarter for the RPG game that our friend Andrew Irvin and his pals have organized just ended, and I think it got up to over $52,000, which is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank all the supporters for that. I'm pretty excited about seeing the final game that comes out next spring, and I look forward to. I hope I hope the four of us can all play it together, and that should be a fun night sometime. So again, thank you to everybody that participated in that Kickstarter. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the question tonight for the big question for the Dead Milkmen is another two-parter. The first part is what are your life achievements that you're most proud of? That's part one. And part two, are there any things that specific things that you hope to achieve in the next year or two or a couple of years that you might have on your list of things to do and get accomplished? So I'll start. One of the things that I'm most proud of is I got to raise my son. He's now over 21. It's a pretty big achievement, I think. Raising a family and bringing a human into the world is a pretty, Dan, you know all about it. It's a pretty amazing thing, and it's challenging, and there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs, but overall, over the course of 21 years, it's been an amazing process, and I'm very proud of him. He's very talented. He's very musical. He's in 2 bands, and he's getting into video work. So you know, I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of him. The other thing is, of course, with you guys. I mean, our musical career has been pretty crazy over the past 35 years or more. So it's been pretty amazing to be able to play music and for fun and sometimes a little profit, but mostly fun. So that's been pretty good. What I plan to do, or what I would like to achieve in the next couple of years, I may have mentioned this before. I would like to play a live solo show of my electronic music. I've mentioned this before. And, you know, I've kind of been starting to work towards that a little bit more seriously in the last month or so. So in the next, you know, hopefully next year, when we can be in the same physical space together, I would love to be able to play some sort of electronic music show. I've been trying to work up some material and just get comfortable with performing that kind of stuff solo. You know, I should probably book a lesson from Rodney on some tips and tricks that he's done over the last couple of years with his solo project. So, but that's what I hope to accomplish. I would also love to be able to travel again. I want to get back to England. This week I've been reminded by Facebook, you know, how they do that memories thing. And 1 year ago this week, I was in England on vacation, and just reminded me how much I love it over there. And so hopefully in the next year or 2 or 3, maybe I'll be able to get back there. So those are my answers.
Cool. You should come play one of our electronic nights at the Tusk, because we, you know, that's the whole idea for what we're doing at the Tusk is when COVID eventually goes away, have electronic nights there.
I'd love to join you guys there.
If it fuddles the crowd, and also if somebody does show up with like traditional instruments, we ask them if they're historical reenactors. You guys want to bring some butter too? Show me how to raise a barn.
Right.
Okay, so what am I most proud of? I just thought of this way. I'm kind of proud of the fact that I don't have any kids. Nothing against the people that do have kids, but imagine having to remember, like I remember to wear a condom every time I had sex, both times. People go like, show you pictures of their kids. I'll show them a picture of a pile of condoms. And there you go. I'm also, I think my big accomplishment right now is I haven't got COVID. which is really all I need to do every day at the end of the day is go, nope, you can get COVID. It's like when they asked Khrushchev, like what he did when Stalin, well, what did you do that was so special when Stalin was in power? And he went, I survived. Yeah, it's the sort of thing. If I just make it to the end of the day without getting COVID, COVID has really made my life easier because I have like one goal. Just didn't get it today. I did inhale a bunch of, I did a Buddy Ebsen. I inhaled a bunch of aluminum dust, re-screening something, and that got my lungs almost like COVID, but it's not contagious. So be careful when you do that. And what I hope to accomplish over the immediate future is I don't want to get shot by some inbred redneck domestic terrorist dickwad. That is it. That's another goal. If I can make it, let's just say March, without that happening, I'm good. See how much simpler life is in 2020. Oh, I didn't get COVID. I didn't get shot by some ignorant pig fucker hillbilly, who says like, I'd like you to meet my mother and my wife. And there's one woman standing there. So yeah, I'd just like to say that, so far I'm on the road to achievement. Who's next? I think Joe.
Well, I helped to launch a company that is still flourishing today, even though I'm no longer part of it, and hopefully it will continue. I don't know. I guess I should be proud of that. But more than that, I'm proud of the Dead Milkmen, of course, that I helped to launch that band, and it's also a company, I guess. But and we made a fair amount of money in our time. Now that Dan's a part of it, not so much, but maybe. Sorry, Dan. I still hope that in the future we can be prosperous.
Maybe a bass player. I don't know.
I've always wanted to have a gold record.
Why?
I just always wanted to.
I'll spray paint one gold for you.
Yeah, but
I would say goldenrod is one of the colors for vinyl.
Well, that's true. We made a red one. We sold 500 red ones. And that was pretty amazing. And one day sold out of all the records that were pressed, and now another press is coming. So, but if we could just do that 1,000 times or 999 more times, then that would be a gold record.
Was it 500,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Doesn't that seem attainable? No, it doesn't.
Not in this day and age.
I'm no longer wanting that to happen anyway, because it's impossible. So for the future accomplishments, well, I started a garden this year too, so that I'm proud of. I have a garden and can, maybe I'll add herbs to it next time, but it's next year. This year it was just a few vegetables, and they all came out pretty well. But I want to make it, for my goal next year, I want to make it more productive, maybe expand the property of the garden, because there's more land there that can be exploited. And I'd also like to eradicate for good all of the invasive vines. And I'd like to get a haircut.
Hey, hippie, let's go listen to some folk music.
I think those are all achievable goals, Joe. I guess my lifetime achievement, mine's similar to Dean's, I guess, because I was going to say both those things as well. Although because I'm going to say that, I also agree with Rodney's too, because there are times where I think I have to live vicariously through you and dream about what it's like to not have somebody needing something every 5 seconds.
Joe and I are childless despite spending years of trying to have a child together. Figure out why.
Well, I took care of that, and we're not able to have children anymore because of my decision. Whatever. Anyway, so, but yeah, the other is I guess being in the Dead Milkmen, because I grew up when I was a teenager, I was a fan, and never dreamed I would play in the band. And now I do, and I think that's cool. I've been playing music since I was a kid. I think 6 or 7 years old, I started taking piano lessons, and then I just took violin and trumpet, and I just never have stopped making music. And like, I never made any money. So it's funny that you guys were saying about making money, because from when I was 15 to when I started playing with you guys, I was playing in bands, and I always played. I never didn't play shows in bands, and I never made any money at all. And then when I started playing with you guys, it was like, hey, we're going to do this, but for fun. I was like, that's still cool. And like, I've actually made some money with the band. And it's funny that you guys are like, well, maybe it's not as much, but it's like, it's more to me because I didn't before. So it's kind of like, it's a cool balance, I think. And as far as what I'd like to achieve in the next year or two, I think being more steady financially, like, and or like more independent as far as like thinking about like homesteading and that kind of thing, like living with like what Joe was saying with a garden, but like extending that to like, because we eat a lot of eggs and stuff, so like we got chickens, but we have to have you have to live in a different place. So that's the goal, with the reasonable goal with the year or two, is living in a different place. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so now we come to our portion of the show called recommendations. And I would like to recommend this week, I'm going to recommend a band that it's been around for a while apparently, but I just became aware of them. Rodney and I like to watch a show called Sonic Talk, which is a show about synthesizers and music technology and all kinds of good stuff like that. And they recently had a little special where they interviewed a band called Battery Operated Orchestra, which is a synth pop duo from the southeast of England. I think they've been around for a few years, and I was not aware of them. I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed the interview, and I liked them so much that I bought their 2 most recent releases on Bandcamp last Friday, which was one of the Bandcamp Fridays where the artists get the music. And it's a woman who sings and plays synth occasionally. Her name is Bridget, and the guy named Chris, who does a lot of the synth work when they play live. He also sings occasionally. And I think they're delightfully retro as well as modern at the same time. They have a really great sound. I'll link. We'll link below a couple of links to their videos. They have a YouTube channel, and yeah, I think they're a lot of fun. They're called Battery Operated Orchestra, and I suggest you check them out. That's my recommendation.
You know, I have a serious jealousy problem with that band because their setup is rather similar to mine. Here, hang on. Let me show you this. I hope this will. Didn't think about doing this earlier. Just busting stuff up here, folks. All right, so here we go. So like this is like my setup, and it's very, very close to theirs. And every time I see them featured on something, somebody goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe somebody did that. No one's ever done that in the history of mankind." So they're good, but I keep getting angry at them. So I'll say things like, "I liked them better when they were called Lebanon Hanover." But yeah, like that jealousy thing. It's like I saw Joe beat up a guy with a folk guitar one time. I did that first. So yeah, I have that issue with a lot of bands. I think it might be the curse of Rod the Anonymous. No matter what I do, somebody else will be pointing in that direction. Hey, look over there. Like Curse of the Damned. Okay, I should get to my recommendation. Yes, my recommendation is called the WNUF Halloween Special. This is a must-see. Shudder has it right now. It was made in 2013, and it was made to look like a local news broadcast from 1987. So it kind of helps if you're 40 or older, but you might still get it if you're younger. The people made it. It looks exactly like a videotape of something that was on the air in 87. They dubbed it over and over and over again to video to make it look worn. Then they took the videos and put them on like old videos and rode around in a car and threw them out the window so people would find it, which makes it even more disturbing. The storyline is secondary to the commercials that they run in it, which are like perfect 80s local station commercials. It's really, really good, and it's super Halloween-y. So yeah, please check that one out.
That sounds cool.
I want to recommend a book. It's called I Want to Be Well, How a Punk Found Peace and You Can Too. And it's by Miguel Chen, who was the bass player for a band called Teenage Bottle Rocket. Milkmen played with him at one of the Riot Fests. I met him, but I saw this book, somebody else mentioned it on Instagram, and I thought, oh, I know that guy. I want to see what he writes about. And it's not bad. I really should have recommended it in last week's. It would have been more appropriate for that, but I wasn't thinking fast enough, and now I'm recommending it. Now, anyway, it's kind of Buddhist in nature, and he does some yoga in it, but it's not, I mean, it's what you might expect from a punker, but it's also not what you'd expect from a self-help get well book. And I thought it was pretty well done. And he even briefly explains his own life, so you know where he's coming from and his tragedies that he's dealt with. And I think it's not a bad path to happiness, and it even explains anxiety and things like that and how you can overcome them with his techniques.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I would like to recommend, just look up at the night sky if you can, preferably in like the least light pollution-y area possible. If you have to drive an hour or something north, do it. It's worth it. For some reason, the planets are doing really cool stuff this year, and Saturn and Jupiter have been hanging out.
Where's the moon? Yeah.
Stalking us for the past week. The kids and I have been taking walks every night. They said it was training for Halloween, so they're like taking the path, which is cool because, you know, it's keeping them walking, and they just ask question after question after, and I end up having to look shit up. But I would also recommend, it's called, what is it called? Night Sky?
Sky Guide. Sky
Night
Guide?
Light or something like light?
I think it's Sky Guide.
Shit. You know what? I don't know what it's called, but I'll send you a link. I don't know. I just did the first one. So I don't know what it is, but it's really cool because you can hold it up and it'll tell you like in real
On your
time.
phone, yeah.
Yeah, Sky Guide, I believe it's called. Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming when all of the settings are on, because it'll tell you like names of like asteroids out in like the Kuiper belt or whatever that you can't even see, but it's like everything's there. And the one I got even shows like the constellations as like a drawing, which is beautiful, but it's also distracting as hell when you're like, I just want to see where Jupiter is. Like, I don't need this. So, but it's cool. So check out the night sky, everybody. It's great.
Did you see the International Space Station go by the other night?
No.
Oh, okay. A couple nights ago, around 7 o'clock. It was actually up there for about 6 minutes. Making it rarely, you can rarely see it for more than like 30 seconds, but you can see it was visible for about 6 minutes. Yeah, I got into that because Vienna and I were out in Bucks County and we got to see the night sky, and Mars and the moon were hanging out. She was just like,
yeah,
Mars and the moon, Mars and the moon.
That's like that. We're out in Bucks County, and like it was earlier this week. Mars and the moon got really close, and like Chrissy and I got like a lot of work done too. So we were like, we're kind of like channeling like the planet's energy and stuff. So, but yeah, so night sky, check it out, and that's it.
See you next week.
All right.
Get a job, you hippies. Get a haircut. You folk music.